Hi there. My name is Rick Knights. I'm the one of the founders and directors at Dentro Talent. We are a technology recruitment business based in the Midlands, but we work all over the UK. And I personally have nearly 25 years experience in the technology recruitment market. And I wanted to give some context around where I believe the market is at the moment and just what we're seeing in the market and what's kind of developing and potentially what's going to happen over the course of the next 12 to 24 months. I think it's important for us to take a step back to kind of previous financial crisis or times when the economy wasn't particularly strong, to get a sense of where the technology and change market space is at the moment. So if I cast back to recessions that I've kind of worked through and lived through previously, and specifically back to 2008, when we had the kind of the global financial crisis, and tech kind of stayed in its own bubble, and was one of the driving forces in actually getting the economy going and keeping the economy going. It remained in a bit of a bubble. There was definitely an impact, but it certainly wasn't what we've seen recently. And then if you go back to when COVID struck, there was a brief hiatus in the market whilst everybody kind of fathomed out exactly what was going on, and then the market went crazy for 2 years. So 2021, 2022, the market was the most buoyant market that I've experienced in the, like I said, nearly 25 years of doing this job. And then at the start of 2023, things really slowed down, and almost as a flick of a switch. And the technology market, the change market, the transformation market really slowed and stagnated. And I would say we had a very tech specific recession in those couple of years. What that meant for the kind of the market as a whole was there was very little movement at the top end of the market. So CIOs, CTOs, IT directors typically will go through a cycle of a 3-year transformation program, maybe a 5-year transformation program, and then go on to the next thing. And that wasn't really happening, and that kind of bleeds down into the lower ends of the market, for want of a better phrase. And what we're seeing now is real inconsistencies in the market and some real turmoil in terms of decision making processes, in terms of vacancies that one day are live and then the next day aren't. And there's this real battle of, are we going to go ahead with this transformation? What resource do we need? Do we have the budget to be able to do that? And there are some macroeconomic factors at play. The political landscape globally affects everything that we do here in the UK and in kind of wider European terms. So we are in a state of flux. The market has definitely improved over the course of the last few months, but what a lot of people were expecting was this big bang of, post COVID. Suddenly, there's lots and lots of vacancies, lots and lots of opportunity, and whilst that is beginning to materialise, we're nowhere near those sorts of levels, and I believe we're not going to get back to that. So we're in a kind of a delicate point at the moment where, to be honest, it really could go either way, in terms of slowing down again or in terms of picking up. And I wanted to give 3 tips for, if you're a candidate in this marketplace, kind of the best way to try to secure a new position, and really to help the job search. And if you are somebody hiring in this market space, or in this market at the moment, and then again, just a couple of notes that may help you to be successful in that. I think what we're seeing from a candidate perspective, and I absolutely loathe the easy apply button on LinkedIn, because what we're seeing is if roles are advertised and put out into the public domain, we are seeing volumes of applications that are completely unprecedented. Thanks to the easy apply button, thanks to automation, thanks to notifications and everything else that's at play. As a recruitment business, you can have hundreds and hundreds of applications within 24 or 48 hours of actually putting a role in the public domain. Now, as a candidate, don't let that put you off applying for things that you believe you are a good fit for, because whilst the volume of applicants is extremely high, the quality of those applicants is very, very, very low. And for a number of reasons, or factors, I should say. There's a lot of candidates who are simply not qualified, who are applying for positions. The positions are not relevant for the experience that they've got. Similarly, there are a lot of applicants from extremely far-flung corners of the world, let alone the UK, who are applying for roles which demand a significant on-site presence. So don't be put off in applying. But my recommendation is to have some real clarity on what it is you want and exactly what you are applying for. There is, in my opinion at the moment, no real need to apply for things where you are an average fit for. I think you have to have that clarity of, okay, these are the type of roles that I want. This role looks right for me. I'm going to apply. And then I think when you do apply, the core message that I would have to candidates is, if you see those roles which are really aligned to the skill set that you possess and what you want to be doing, be really persistent. Be really persistent on getting hold of the recruitment business, getting hold of the company that you've just applied for, and really putting yourself out there and saying, this is a job that I would really, really like to do. So I think having clarity and being persistent, and then lastly, to use your network. Most people, if you're active in the market or if you're considering making a move, you will have built a network up in some way, whether it's people that you've worked with before or whether it's recruiters. Use that network. Ask people if they know anybody at those businesses to give you a soft introduction that gets you to the top of that pile of 100, 250, however many applicants it might be. So the three things from a candidate perspective: have clarity on what you want and what you're going after. Be persistent when you see those vacancies or hear of those vacancies. And then lastly, make sure that you are leveraging your network as best you can and include recruiters in that network. Most recruiters who've been in the market for a significant period of time will want to support you and want to help you. It might mean that they want you to work with them in the future, but they definitely will help you. And from a hiring perspective, if you're a business who are hiring in this market, the first thing is, don't rely on applications. I think with the volume of applicants that are coming in and the low quality of those applicants, if that's all you're doing, you are really skimming the surface of the market and potentially not getting the best people for the vacancy that you have. And I think, again, in the same way that I think candidates should have real clarity about what they're going after, I think if you're hiring, being really clear on the parameters of the role when you do advertise and when you do go to market is critical. Being honest and open about what that hybrid working policy looks like and how that's going to work for people who are perhaps based a little bit further away. being upfront about the salary requirements. Again, the aim is to shrink down that application pool to people who are really, really relevant. So be clear on the responsibilities, be clear on what you want and what the parameters for the role are. The last point is just to make sure that you have some kind of why you in that advert and that story of going to market. What is it about the role? What is it about you as a business that should make people apply and that should encourage people to apply for a position with you? And I think you have to have that go-to-market strategy, that go-to-market clarity on what it is about this vacancy and what is it about you as a business that that should make people want to work for you. So that's my view on where the market is at the moment. I think there's plenty of turmoil still. There are obviously lots of applicants. And I think where we're going, or where I hope we're going, is an incremental kind of slow increase in kind of available vacancies and general market pickup. I don't think we are going to see what we saw post-COVID of a big bang of vacancies. But I do believe that we are in for a pretty good year incrementally, and I think as we get towards the end of the summer, we'll certainly be talking about a slightly different marketplace, provided there are no cataclysmic political events or similar over the course of the next few months. Obviously, Dentro are here to support you in any hiring needs that you require, and please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Thank you.